if you were to visualise and tell me how that's going to pan out, what does it look like?
Next 3 years, I can see myself being a world champion and bringing big time boxing back to Dublin. I truly believe it. I think this year is the time to bring boxing back to Dublin. We just have to wait and see.
Liam Smith winning, would you say that was fluke or strategy?
Strategy. It wasn't just a lucky shot. He let flows go. He let flurries go, and he obviously, with Eubanks moving up and down, he walked into an uppercut.
Pierce O'Leary is a knockout artist. He's a professional boxer from Dublin, Ireland. We're speaking about his career, his future plans, and his commentary on some of the recent boxing events. Be happy, never content, stay tuned, because I've got more boxers coming up. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. Steve Sully's Study. Got another pro boxer in front of me, a pro athlete, Mr. Big Bang. Welcome onto the podcast, bro, Pierce O'Leary.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me. Amazing.
No problem, mate.
It was a long time coming.
Oh, definitely.
It was a long time coming, and it was just not obviously. I'm a bit OCD about my schedules, so I'm more so like, I can't let that affect the training. I can't say the stuff, but listen, I'm free now, and it's just kind of living the life really now. I'm just enjoying it.
Good stuff. Obviously, I want to talk about your profile, your career, your goals, your aspirations, and where you're heading. Obviously, you're undefeated, WBC international champ, and there's a lot of things that's that is planned for you in the future, no doubt. But before we talk about that, let's talk about recent events. You're a boxer, you're an athlete, you're in the mix. So I always like to get your opinion. This week's boxing on the last weekend was Chris Eubank Jr. against Liam Smith. I'm going to read you a quote, and I'm going to tell you why I read this quote afterwards. I only need to be 50% to turn up against Liam Smith. Now, I'm a personal believer of the law of attraction. I believe that words will become things if you keep on saying them time and time again. Do you think that quote, I only need to be 50% to turn up against Liam Smith, haunted Chris Eubank Jr.?
1,000,000%. And how he worded it, it wasn't like, I need to be 50% just to beat Liam Smith. It was, it's only 50% that I need just to turn up. And that 50%, then where's the other 50? Do you know? And that's what's started happening. That's the shot he got caught with, and he went down because he wasn't 100. I was at 50%. He wasn't 100%.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, looking at him when he weighed in and stuff, I mean, he looked the part. He looked absolutely shredded. But to be honest, he always looks pretty good. You know, even when he's not fighting. And up until that point when he got clipped in the corner and he went down for the first time, I didn't think he looked bad. I think he looked all right.
I thought it was a slip. Genuinely, I thought it was a slip until I looked back at the replay. But it was in the third round when even John McNally, which is Liam Smith's fantastic coach, and he even said about Liam Smith, he lost him in the third round. And I was a bit worried. I was like, this is going to end early here. If Eubanks is able to do this and Smith just keep walking forward with his hands like that, so it's going to be a long night for Smith. And come out in the fourth round, don't know what the coach said in the corner was, but anyways, he come back out and stormed him, didn't he?
Yeah. Look, it's easy for me to say as just a fan and someone that is not a professional boxer. I know boxing kind of enough to have a bit of a comment, and it just seemed like he planted himself in the corner and didn't even try and get out the corner. He just tried to weather the shots, and obviously he got caught with that uppercut, and then it was kind of game over for him.
Yeah, as soon as he got caught with the uppercut, his legs buckled, went straight underneath them, tried to get back up. In my opinion, I thought the ref could have stopped it there and then, but gave him the chance, bit of a doubt, and then Liam Smith went back at it.
Yeah.
But it's boxing, Steve. I ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
It takes that one shot.
Yeah. So the next question I was going to ask you actually is, Liam Smith winning, would you say that was fluke or strategy?
Strategy. Because it wasn't just a lucky shot. He let flows go. He let flurries go, and he obviously, with Eubanks moving up and down, he walked into an uppercut.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like, if it didn't happen then, it was going to happen late down the line anyways, because that was his game plan. It was to stick and move on the ropes, go up and down on the ropes, and Smith, he had a fantastic game plan. All he done was jab the body, jab the head until he got in the inside.
Yeah.
As soon as he got in the inside, then he started walking hard.
Yeah. So do you think Chris Eubank takes the rematch, and if so, who wins that one?
Personal opinion, I don't think he should. I think he's weight drained. And obviously with Conor Bain and Eubanks, that was at 147, was it? Catch weight?
Yeah.
Like that's an awful lot of weight taken out of the body. Like, you sure he wasn't moving correctly as the way he was with what's that other guy's name?
Liam Williams.
Liam Williams. Like, he was moving a lot then, but it wasn't like that with Smith.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that pound, the extra 2 pounds may do.
Yeah. So there was a lot of, I mean, personally, I was really pumped about the Chris Eubank Conor Benn fight. I was really intrigued. I personally still would have favoured at that point Chris Eubank Jr. just because I think it was too big, too quick, too experienced. Been in there with better people, but now seeing his last performance, I'm a little bit unsure. I was guided not to see it. I'm going to ask you a bit of a hard question here, and I've asked this to a lot of athletes, not just boxers, but athletes in general. If someone does get caught using steroids or sports-enhancing drugs, what should the repercussion be? Should it be an instant ban for life, or should they be given a second chance?
That's a sticky question. I think it should be banned, isn't it?
For life?
Yeah. Maybe so. Maybe so. It's just like, boxing's a dangerous sport, Steve. Like, regardless of whether you take peds or not, like, you can go out there and kill someone. John, like, and I happened to, what's the Sonny Liston, was it? He had a dream, and he went out and fought, and he had a dream that he's gonna kill his fighter. He woke up the next morning, fight day, went to the priest, went to everyone, I'm cancelling the fight. The priest gave him a prayer, saying everything's gonna be fine. He went out that night and killed him in the ring. So it's a sticky situation.
Yeah. Do you know? Funny enough, we speak about this, and it's a bit of an in-depth conversation which I can talk to boxers about or MMA fighters about for a long time, because it's a bit of a weird psychology. Okay, if I were to say to any boxer when I spar, if I'm sparring someone I don't know, let's be honest, if there's a bit of a heated spar, you're kind of there to hurt each other, right?
It's a fight.
Because it's a fight, and
100%.
You're an alpha type male,
and
if someone clips you, you kind of want to get one back on them.
100%, yeah.
And that's just the normal instinct.
That's just nature of us. Yeah.
Whatever happens in that ring, you deal with it, then afterwards you become pals again. It's
100%.
just what happens. But if I were to turn around to anyone, probably including you, and you're a nice professional fella, and I said, do you want to hurt that fella in your fight? You'll probably say yes. But if I then were to reframe the question and say, do you want to kill the fella? You're going to probably say no. I certainly would, and I think I know you well enough, that's what you would say. But what is that fine line of trying to hurt someone really badly, but actually knowing that if you turn it up too much, you could actually end up killing them? What is that fine line?
As a fighter, for me, Steve, there's no fine line. In sparring with teammates, obviously you've 70%, 75%. It's still tough, hard sparring because you want to bring each other on. But we're not in there to try to kill each other. But in the ring, it's kill or be killed, and that's just the way I look at it. Like, I want to be safe. I'm a father, so I've got a daughter at home, and I want to go home before safe. I don't want to end up anyway. I don't want her to be pushing me around the wheelchair and like that. So, listen, if it's the case to be, if I have to kill someone in the ring, that's what I have to do.
Yeah. Then I'm going to pull out a quote made by the bronze bomber, Deontay Wilder. He said this, in the last few years, I want a body on my record. Now, for people that don't know what that means, he's basically saying that he wants to have someone dead on his record. The thing is, you could probably say in the heat of the moment, being a boxer, being this killer kind of athlete, you could. I mean, look at Liam Smith and Chris Eubank. They both admitted that during that weigh-in and during the build-up on the fight, they said certain things that probably they shouldn't have said, and they admitted wrong. Deontay Wilder said this probably in 4 or 5 different interviews, even when he's not fighting. So you can't be excused. I mean, do you think he actually wants to kill someone, Deontay Wilder, in a boxing fight?
100%. I think he wants that on his record. As you said, he said it many times, different occasions. Keeps bringing up in interviews, but if that's what he wants, it's what he wants, Joe. But at the end of the day, like, you know me, Steve, and you know other athletes, other fighters, we're not that outside the ring. We're totally different. All we're doing in the ring is just providing and looking for a better life. And if it's kill someone legally and he's in the way, he's trying to kill you, well, then that's what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, sitting outside, sitting here now on a podcast with you, no one wants to kill someone. So you don't want to live with that for the rest of your life, Joe.
Yeah.
But with the Deontay Wilder, I don't know. Can you take him serious? Is he doing that to promote fights, sell tickets? It's a weird one.
Yeah. There's a lot of examples of boxers getting brain damaged or being killed. I mean, I just wrote down here when I was doing my own research that 20% in brackets CTBI, which is a brain damage affiliated injury, 20% of boxers end up getting that, whether it's mild or quite severe. And if you really think about it, that's quite a high percentage, 20%.
20%, yeah.
And my question always to any boxer or any MMA fighter is, knowing the risks, how come you've chosen to take this craft as your profession and using it as a place to provide for your family?
As I said before, like, as what you said about providing for your family, I just think I think boxing's a poor man's sport, to be honest with you. There's no other way out for it. You've got football. Like, football's like a world-class area. Like, a lot of people play football, make it. Look at Ronaldo, look at Ronaldinho, Messi, all the good players. Like, they all came from nothing, the slums. But with boxing, same thing that goes with boxing. Like, it's just different sport. But with boxing, I think it's a lot more hunger. Do you know what I mean? And knowing that, right, my life is on the line here, so I've got to make it. And like, having a kid now, it's beforehand, I was like, when I was sparring and when I was fighting, I was real aggressive and wanted to hurt people. But now I'm just thinking about defence. I'm thinking about not getting hit. So I want to hit and not get hit. And that's the art of boxing. You look at Mayweather, he's still going. Who he's fighting 25th of February, Arden Shaw. Like, you never think of that. Do you know what I mean? But he's now making easy money. But as I said, I think it's just a poor man's sport. And it's just come from nothing. You know you can make it when you have something. Put the time in and anyone can get it.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know about you, but when I was younger, I'm 37, right? So when I was younger, there was no such thing as podcast, social media. There was no such thing as YouTube, and all you went off is the TV or magazines, etc. And I used to have this perception that anyone on TV was very, very wealthy, because, you know, they must be wealthy if they're on TV and they are famous. And I do feel that there's a misconception for younger people coming into a lot of sports, including boxing, that, oh, the moment you turn pro, you're going to be a multimillionaire, you're going to be uber famous, and your life is going to be sorted forever. A little bit that is true for football, because I've had some footballers on my podcast that a lot of people haven't even heard of, but they're raking in 10, 15, 20,000 pounds a week, and they're not even, you know, top Premiership footballers. They might have had a stint in the Premiership, but now they're playing for different divisions. One of them is a friend of mine called Simon Cox, lovely fella, really good footballer. He's actually Irish international player, but a lot of people haven't even heard of his name. And when they found out he was on 10, I think at one stage 16 grand a week, they were quite shocked. Now, if you compare that to a professional boxer, maybe who's not quite in the Premiership but a little bit below, what is the reality, Pierce? I mean, how much are these pro boxers actually making today?
They ain't making much, mate. They're not making much. And a lot of people, see, back then, like, you wouldn't have known what the figures of a footballer or a boxer was getting until now with the podcasts, for example. And even now, for example, a fighter who's on less pay than me has a bigger profile than me just from social media. And it may look like he's doing more than me, which he's not. And I'm doing most of it. Do you know what I mean? So, social media is just, I use it to my full advantage, because as we are speaking about, I'm now a brand, so I've got to use that and build my brand for after boxing also. But with these guys coming up in the world now, thinking of boxers, and more so social media boxers, they look like they're doing everything. They look like they're winning multi-million-pound, going around rented Lamborghinis and stuff like that, and think they made it. Where, listen, most boxers don't even scratch the surface.
Yeah. So, okay, I don't know how much you can let me know, but I remember reason why I know a lot of the guys down iBox is because originally I used to sponsor Sam Webb, okay, who used to be British champion, and then that evolved into Bradley Skeet, so I started sponsoring him. And I remember having an honest conversation with Bradley Skeet, who, by the way, has been on my podcast as well before. He said, life only started getting good when you get to British level. That's when you hit, back then, I think he claimed he was getting about 35, 40 grand a fight.
Yeah.
And then beyond, that was, a few years ago now, so things might have changed since then. Let's even call it 50 grand, okay?
Yeah.
I know you're WBC international champion. Obviously, you're going to be pushing on very, very soon to other sort of titles. Out of a purse of 40 grand, how much of that are you actually keeping?
10% your management fee, 15% your manager, and then obviously then your comp man. But we got one big team, as you know. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So what's that? 25% gone. And then obviously you got to pay the tax on that as well. And then your trainer fees, stuff like that. So you barely break even. But yet at the same time, if it was about money, Steve, at the very start, I would have packed it in a long, long time ago. And as you know, I come over here to London with nothing. £1,000 in my pocket, one backpack. I was only 19 years of age, didn't know where I was living. Didn't meet me coach yet, Al or Ed. I only heard them, but we were in contact and speaking together about coming over. So that was it. I come over, £1,000, a backpack. Never looked back.
Yeah.
Never looked back, and then fought for the WBC national title there. 3 years on, changed my life.
Yeah. So how did you have this, knowing that a lot of boxers don't make it per se, as far as, becoming champion, growing his profile, making money, etc. How did you have that raw confidence to know that you would actually break through and start making a name for yourself?
I just believe I had the talent, I had the heart, I had the dedication, the sacrifice, discipline so much. Give the sport everything right through the age of 7. So I knew I can't fail. I knew I'd been tested many times, mate. I was living over a pub, Jordan Covey. I was over here on my own. I let my baby at home, my girlfriend Amy. I just stuck it out, I grinded it out 3-4 months when she was only born, and I could have just saying, listen, this is not for me, it's too hard, I can't make it, I haven't got the backing, I have to go. But we just stuck it out and just kept on pushing and kept believing myself, kept praying, and God gave me it.
So there must have been the discipline, there must have been the tough days where you thought, I've got to do this anyway, but there has to be an element of you enjoy the struggle and the pain and being relentless towards progressing every single day.
Even with where I come from is not really a great place. At the same time, it's a bit of a shithole, to be honest, growing up in there, so a lot of things that I shouldn't have seen, and been around a lot of things that I shouldn't have been around. But listen, that's just the nature of life. You need to fall into it. Sometimes you become a product of your environment. Where I was very lucky, the boxing kind of saved me from that. And I'll still hang around the same people who I grew up with, and whatever they do, that's up to them. Do you know what I mean? But I won't look at them any different. I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and then and just bring as many people on the journey as possible. And back to your question again, Steve, I just the struggle. You know, you're coming from a work class area, tough. There's a lot of wrongs than pro. There's a lot of cons than pros. So you just got to make the most out of everything. Or I just want to help my family, mate. I just want to keep on pushing, make sure there's no financial help everyone financially. Make sure there's no stress about any financial part. And just make everyone happy. And then just listen, if they need a bit of advice, they can come to me. If they need anything, I want to be that person who can provide them for it.
Yeah. So I want to talk more about your background and how you made that transition over here, and really get to know your background, being from Dublin, the environment, etc., and then talk about some of the plans for the future. We did touch on like the YouTube Floyd Mayweather era that we're in right now. So I feel like there's the YouTube boxers, and then I think Floyd Mayweather with Conor McGregor started this kind of hybrid type boxing.
Yeah.
Ngannou, is it, coming out of the UFC?
UFC, yeah, with Fury.
He's now talking about coming out of the UFC, which he is. He's released out of there. He's saying he didn't get enough pay, enough insurance, enough fights, etc. And he wants to go into boxing. He's actually calling out for his first fight, either Fury or AJ. Now, I think writers on the wall there. He's doing it because I don't believe he feels they can win these fights.
No.
I mean, surely not. He's doing it to get the recognition, also get a big payday, in my firm opinion.
100%.
But can you blame him? Talking about this whole kind of hybrid kind of style of boxing now, UFC fighters fighting boxers and vice versa. Do you agree with it?
It is what it is. Do you know what? It has, as we said before, it has its pros and its cons. Like, it's bringing more attention to boxing from the UFC fans, and then it's bringing boxing fans to the UFC more. So it's mixing. Do you know what I mean? And listen, if it generates money and fans are happy with it, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
And the same question is about this YouTube boxing then. I mean, look, I still feel that Jake Paul's going to come unstuck when he comes across what I call a real boxer, someone that is properly fighting today, who is dedicated to it, not someone that retired from MMA 10 years ago or something like that. But I've got to be honest, what he's doing right now is creating a lot of high fuzz and noise, and you can't take away from the fact that he's actually making a very successful name for himself in the fight industry. But what's your take on Jake Paul and this YouTube boxing?
Jokes, isn't it? That's my opinion. I think he's a joke. He's a proper nonsense. But at the same time, he's bringing kids to boxing. He's changing people's lives. Like all these YouTubers, all these kids who be mad into computers and stuff like that, they're kind of leaving the house now to go to a gym and starting to vlog and do stuff like in a boxing gym. We're now living in a digital world. The times have changed. So just like as we spoke about already, I'm now creating a YouTube channel for myself, and I would go back a couple of months, not even 3-4 months ago, I would have said, nah, I wouldn't even be interested in that. But now I am. And now everyone's jumping on it, and everyone's texting me saying, that's crazy, that's great stuff.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to your journey. So why not do it? And it's just bringing more followers to the sport, I think.
Yeah. If KSI ends up fighting Jake Paul, who wins, KSI or Paul?
Can I tell you the truth? I didn't even watch none of them. I haven't watched any of them. So I don't know how KSI fights. He could have 3 arms, all I know. We don't know how he fights. Or Jake Paul, I've never seen him fight.
Yeah.
I was just seeing highlights, like the clip where he knocked Joe Jones, was it? What's his name, the UFC fighter?
Anderson Silva. He beat Anderson Silva, and he also beat what was his name?
Jones, something Jones.
I forgot his name now, but he had 2 fights against him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
The black guy.
Yeah. And he ordered him out, and
it'll come to me in a bit. I totally forgot his name now.
John Jones.
No, it wasn't John Jones. No, John Jones hasn't fought him. No.
Right.
No.
That's how much. That's how much information I know about it. I don't know, man.
So you mentioned about Floyd Mayweather against Aaron Chalmers. I saw that come up on Aaron Chalmers' Instagram yesterday, and I was absolutely shocked. I'm actually really happy for him because he's a pal of mine, but absolutely shocked. Really good stuff for Aaron Chalmers, but if we're being totally honest about it, Floyd Mayweather is probably the best boxer that's ever lived. Is it just another payday for Floyd Mayweather?
That's all it is. He has a fight in the UK, yeah, so he always wanted to fight in the UK, and with YouTube now, I gave him that opportunity, and there he is now. He's fighting the 25th of February, but listen, Aaron, fair play to him, really, fair play to him. I hope he does. We know the results already, but I hope he does well and doesn't let trash talk get to him. Yeah. And he just stays focused, and listen, give all the fans a great fight. I'll be tuning into that 100%.
Yeah, I will. And Aaron's a top fella, and he really
nice guy. I met him once down in Boots Gym.
Boxing Boots.
Yeah. Top guy, nice guy.
Yeah. So, okay, you're from Dublin. My second favourite drink in the world, I know you probably don't drink a lot because obviously being a pro athlete, but being Irish, you must drink a little bit of Guinness.
I'm sure I do.
Yeah? Whenever I think of Ireland or Dublin, I think of a good Guinness. So do you have it over Christmas and stuff?
Yeah, I don't really drink. I'm not really a mad drinker. I like the socialise, John. I don't really like the missing and all that kind of stuff. I just like to go over a few with the missing and a few friends, and I'd have a few drinks, but I'd have enough where I'd be able to train in the morning, John. Like I especially wouldn't be 12 to 14 weeks before camp, before I even have a fight, before I even touch a drink. So yeah, I'd never really was, even as a kid, I never really drank. I never drank as a kid. Up until the age of probably 19, when I was told after a fight when I couldn't sleep, have a Guinness, and that was like sleeper. Had a Guinness and I went to sleep, and ever since then I'd always like to have a Guinness after a fight, or even if I'm out on an occasion or something like that, I'm not in camp, I'll probably have one. Yeah, 100%. But listen, we call it the blonde in the black dress.
The what?
The blonde in the black dress. That's how we call it. But yeah, listen, Guinness is probably my favourite drink. It is.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. So you mentioned earlier about when you were younger, there were certain things that were happening, certain things that you saw that you shouldn't have seen. If I were to be in your shoes, what type of things were you seeing?
Don't really want to say too much on the camera, but I'll just listen. We when growing up and we're in the chilling out and hanging around corners and whatnot, like things are up and people are up and all good. Do you know what I mean? And listen, when you heard a couple of bangs, so we knew what they were. So listen, we went around saying whatnot, and listen, we just kept on going from there. But yeah, listen, as I said before, it's already stuff that I won't really talk about on podcasts now, but probably in the future I will. But it wasn't nice to see, and I wouldn't. And for me now, that even for now, like that drives me insane. Like pushing so hard. That's why I work so hard in the gym. People say I overtrain. I just want to make it out of it, and that's really it. I don't want to my future kids or my daughter now saying, no, times are changing, but I don't want to let them see where I seen growing up, and I don't want them being in an environment where I grew up, which is it's still fantastic. It gave me everything. It gave me streetwise, smart head and shoulders. Like I could wipe anyone out, really. Do you know what I mean? Like smart boys, and yeah, it has a pros and a cons of growing up in the middle class, but I don't think I'd change it.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd change it for one bit. Like I think everything happens for a reason. You see certain stuff that could haunt. Like if I took a kid from a wealthy kid, say for example, and I took them to my place and put them in my shows and let them say they probably frozen with trauma for the rest of their life. Where that doesn't. For me, when I speak about it, it feels normal to speak about it. But when people are when I'm getting the feedback of people when I speak about it, they're looking at me like if I have 10 heads. But for me, Steve, that's just normal. That's just a normal way of living and seeing things that I shouldn't have seen, as I said, and collected things that I shouldn't have collected and stuff like that. Like just growing up and drunk. And well, listen, boxing saved me. 100% boxing saved me and took me out of the whole situation.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I don't know if we're going to ever have like the science or the actual percentage of people that break out of that mold and they pursue something different. But the drugs, the violence, the gangs, that sort of culture in any part of the world where people are growing up in and around, there's going to be a massive proportion of them that actually get stuck and they actually find themselves in that environment and growing up in that environment, and they either get killed, they either become addicts, or they end up going to jail. And why is it only some of them end up breaking out of that?
It's just a sport, I think. Sport, once you join it could be football or anything. Like, listen, I've done everything: boxing, football, motocross on the bikes. Like, I've done it all. And obviously motocross, you're out acting the bollocks on the roads and you're driving around, where that kind of went out the window for me then, because I didn't really want that. Football, wasn't going to make it. So it wasn't putting all my time into it. Boxing, I just had the ability. I think it was just the end that I had, and that was my temptation. That was my therapy. Just to release everything. Do you know what I mean? As a young kid, like getting in there, like getting hit in the face, but it was legal. You could enjoy it. So I used to be always street fighting and stuff like that as a kid. I used to be a proper little. Yeah, it's nuts how things change for me, but just growing up in general, like out collecting for Halloween, up to no good, late nights, just general growing up as you like being around the drugs, the violence. I was always a kid. I've always seen a lot of people make a lot of money in a couple of hours, 2-3 days. Me close friends make serious amount of money, and I was just there on my own, not pot to piss in, you know. But I'd never go and do it. I always knew boxing was going to give me the life that I always wanted, and here I am now. Like I'm not even scratching the surface yet, but it's gave me so much, taught me so much, lessons that I learned for a lifetime, and I can only share the experience with people.
Yeah.
But like, I still got friends who stuck in that situation back home, and it not haunts me, but it hurts me knowing that. Like, they could have done something else, and they could have done this, they could have done that. But you try to help so many people so many times, and they not throw back in your face, but it's hard for them to escape it. They can't escape it. It's too hard for them. You just have to leave them be and just I've got to stay focused and just say, listen, if in the future where I'm able to have them as a team, where I could pay them a wage, just like, right, you this and you do that, then I have this guy over here to do this. That's why I want it. Do you know what I mean? I want to have my close friends and have a good solid team as a family, and then just live the experience and just live the dream.
Yeah. One thing I said to Mick Conlon on the podcast, and one thing I've always said about, so my granddad was Irish, yeah, partly Irish, from County Mayo. I've obviously been over there. I've been to Dublin only once. One thing that always comes out, my impression of the Irish is they've always got heart. It doesn't matter whether they're playing football, boxing. I mean, so many great fighters have come from Ireland, and then even in business. Why is it that the Irish are known for their heart?
It's known for always fighting, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like, that's the history of the Irish. We always fought. It's actually crazy I do say that, because when I first joined the iBox, I just wanted to fight. Like, I'd take punches and I want to fight back, and they're like, you've got a lot of balls, a lot of heart, don't you? And it's like, yeah, where I come from, that's why. Then every time before a fight, I'm always told, use your head, not your heart. And that little saying just changes everything for you. You go out there, you want to box smart. You don't want to get into a tear up around like that. You want to stay safe, and just box and win. But I agree with you. I think we all have heart, regardless, and it's all pride.
Yeah. Kevin Jarko used to be down your stable, and then obviously you got Dennis McCann, who's also another Irish fighter. What was that like, you know, having two other Irish fighters with you, sharing training sessions with them and also sparring them?
It was great. This, like, with Kevin, like, I actually lived with Kevin for a little bit, and he was unbelievable. Like, he was a lot older than me, and I knew Kevin from the high performance days back home in Dublin, training together and stuff like that. And I always see what he did, and I always look at him, you know, and he was extraordinary, fantastic fighter, unbelievable. And then he just kind of felt like he got a bit stuck where he kind of like wanted to progress a little bit more. So that's what happened to Kevin. And then with Dennis, another Irish fighter, fantastic talent, very good. Me and him grown really, really well, gel together. And it'd be sick if, like, obviously it won't happen now, but back then, like, I was always thinking, it'd be great if we all got a nice card back home in Dublin, wouldn't we all fought there, or even Belfast or something like that. And yeah, but obviously that won't happen no more. But yeah, it was fantastic, I thought.
Yeah.
With like, literally having, you feel more home, if you know what I mean. Being away from home and having an Irish fighter there who's on the same journey as you, chasing for greatness. It just pushes each other, and it feels more home there when two are out bombing together and stuff like that. Like, it doesn't feel like you're away.
Yeah. So I asked you off camera, how did you plan or decide which promoter, which trainer, which camp that you're going to be a part of? Because that in itself is quite a big decision and can be quite risky as well.
So what happened was we obviously I started my career back home in Dublin, and had 3 camps back then, and after Christmas then we were meant to fight in February. So the plan was, I'm after getting 3 fights in. The plan was with my amateur coach Philip, you can push out to the UK then and expand. So I'm like, yeah, perfect, no problem. And then it came to that just like that. It was crazy. It happened so quick. It happened overnight, and I found myself in the airport with £1,000 in my pocket and a backpack sleeve, as I said, and went there. Obviously, I knew the likes of Eddie Lamb. Obviously was texting Dennis for a bit, and obviously Keevan as well. I was texting, and they kind of advised me saying this and that, and very good. Why don't you come over and try it out? I just literally grew up and left. Didn't know where I was staying. Hadn't a clue. Went over and met up with Keevan, stayed with Keevan for a bit, and then just went from there. I didn't even take a trial. Done like 2 days, 3 days or something, because I had no choice. It was either gonna be a camp together regardless, and then make my decision or go somewhere else. Things just snowballed on from there. I just kept on going and going and going. I loved it. Fantastic treatment like family. Helped me out so much. Being over, avoid me around for dinners. Like, I class them as our family now in Germany, and it's pure loyalty. Soon as my contract was up then with MTK back in June, and that was it then. We just weighed up our options, see where we went from there, and then my advisor, who's friends with Frank, and obviously Al's friends with Frank also, so we went to them, and blew the offers out of the table. So we were like, right, perfect. The roadmap that they had set out for me was fantastic. The other guys had no roadmap, so it was like, right, where do we sign? Signed it, got ourselves, and then coming out on the 16th of July straight away. In a month, made a fantastic debut for BT Sport, and then next fight was for the WBC International, and that was it. It just goes to show, because I'm now top 15 or 15 in the world in the WBC rankings, so that it just goes to show how much they believe in my talent to push me that quick. So I expect the European title soon, and then we'll just keep on pushing on from the ranks.
Yeah. Who would you say ultimately, taking yourself out of the equation, is a better promoter, Frank Warren or Eddie Hearn?
Again, it has its pros and cons. Eddie Hearn, I think now is in with the big fish. He's Canelo, Joshua, like, where Fred got more loyalty, and he builds you as a fighter. And he'd even say to you, he said, I probably couldn't give you that. Go elsewhere. He'd wish you the best of luck. Do you know what I mean? Where I feel very content now, working hard. I've got loyalty. I've got a good team around me where he'll just want the best for me. So for Frank, I think he's going to do a tremendous job with me and build me.
Good stuff. So the next kind of 2 or 3 years, if you were to visualize and tell me how that's going to pan out, what does it look like?
I'll be a world champion. In the next 3 years, I'll be a world champion. Maybe a multiple weight world champion. We just have to wait and see. But before moving up a weight, I want to unify. I want to an undisputed fight at 140, which is 10 stone. Win those titles, and then maybe even defend them for a couple of times, and then move up. But next 3 years, I can see myself being a world champion and bringing big time boxing back to Dublin. I truly believe it. I think this year is the time to bring boxing back to Dublin.
Yeah. So you're super lightweight, is that correct?
Super lightweight, yeah.
Okay. I'm a little bit not as knowledgeable down in the lighter weights. Who's actually some of the big fish there? But name some of the big world champions, and is any of them that you really got your eyes on right now that you think you could turn over?
Yeah, you got the likes of Josh Taylor, Jack Cattrall. They were about to fight again. That fight is now off. You've got Zapido Lopez, which is in Latin America. He's He's a WBC champion. And then you've got Progress. Reese's Progress. He's the world champion as well. So at once, remember they done the Super Series where all the top 10 guys went into the series, and then the best man won the whole belts then. So Josh Taylor won that. Obviously then he fought Jack Cattrall. Then the WBC made him vacate belts or something like that for some reason, because he was holding it for so long he wouldn't fight the mandatory. And then it just went on from there. So the belts now are now scattered everywhere. So I think there's four champions in the weight where there should have been just one. So pretty much titles are up for grabs.
Yeah. So do you look at every single person in your division today and you think you could beat them?
100%. I totally agree. And listen, you look at Devin Haney, 22 years of age, Teofimo Lopez when he won against Lomachenko, 23. I'm now 22, going 23, 28th of February. Hey, it's my time. I feel like it's my time.
If you were to step up to their weights, you know, Devin Haney, etc., even start approaching the likes of Davis and Garcia, etc., how do you think you get on with them right now?
Yeah, they're all really well, mate. Really well. But they're lighter. They're a lot lighter.
Oh, they're light.
Yeah. They're two weights below me, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Well, mate, I'd love it. I'd even love a spar. It's like, I don't think they'd have much on me. And that's the truth of God. I don't think they'd have much on me. I feel like I'm up there with the best, and I'm just a dark horse. I've always been behind the camera. I've never been really shown, but I think this year with BT, they're gonna blow me up, and especially with the performance I'm gonna put in.
Why are you known as Big Bang?
Big Bang, yeah. That happened back in the day when I was sparring as a kid. I used to be about 13, 14, sparring all the lads 16, 17, 18. Because I was sparring and I was a bit of a block, you know what I mean? They used to call me Butterbean back in the day. And yeah, I had the power and was destroying everyone like at my way, so I had to spar. I always sparred all the people. As soon as I started sparring all the people and I started developing that little bit more power and getting all of myself, I started not only hunting people, but I started knocking people out. And that was it. It just came from, I fought in the National Stadium in a national final, and I stopped the guy, and I heard, "Go on, Big Bang," and that was it. As soon as I heard that, got out of the ring, got pictures, as you do, receive a medal, and a lot of people just stuck with that because the place was jammers, and when one said it, everyone heard it, so everyone just went with Big Bang. So I said, "Listen, it is what it is. We go with Big Bang then."
What's your signature shot?
I left hook to the body. I left hook to the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be mad for the right, but I just like setting things up now. Listen, I've got the power on both hands. So once I don't rush and take the time and just set the shots up, I'll just come. Cause I've been doing it in sparring, and I've been doing it in the last fight I had was a guy who was tough. He was very tough. I think to be honest with you, I don't think the research on him was done properly. He was 18 1-1. So 18 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. Unbelievable. He fought for the WBC welterweight, and he came up short against a good guy. And so you're like, right, we'll take him and see what he's like. We only seen a minute of him, so we're like, yeah, we'll deal with him. I knew comfortably and confidence in myself that none of these are my level, regardless. None of them are on my level, but I wasn't prepared myself to go the distance. So when I went the distance, I was like, that was about performance, it was a fantastic performance. I look back on the fight and everyone else was saying, he went 10 rounds. And then I looked at the positive side of going 10 rounds, making championship weight for the first time, dealing with the media, doing so many interviews, check weights because of my first title fight. The pressure around the first title was just so much. And when I realised and I came down off the bus after about a week or two, I was like, wow, I've learned so much there. That's unbelievable. I'm so thankful and glad that I went those rounds where I'll now look back and say, right, I can do 10 rounds easy. I can maybe push a little bit more if I need to be for an extra 2 rounds for 12 rounds. That's no stress. I paced myself well. Don't go too much up for the power too early on, because I still had power later on in the rounds. It was just it just showed me as a complete fighter.
So I have heard a few trainers say some trainers believe you can develop power, and obviously you can to a certain extent. And then other people say, well, he's never going to be a puncher. You've got to harness the strength he has and then work on these other attributes. But my question to you, being a fighter and someone that's known for knocking people out, can you become a knockout artist, or are you just naturally born with that gift?
I'm just naturally born with that gift. Like, it was always, as a kid, I was always solid and always strong. Do you know what I mean? I was always, I was always that, like, I'd have no fear like that. Do you know what I mean? And I was always, I always had that punch in me. So when anyone started, anyone started with my mates, it was the first one in. Where now, if someone done that, would be the last one then. I would think about safety force. Do you know, because I'm just matured so much, but it's I always had that power growing up where it gave me no fear.
Yeah.
It gave me no fear.
When you look at someone like Deontay Wilder, who basically just touches someone and they go over, like, what's the third thing that comes to mind when you see stuff like that?
That's scary, pal. It's scary. Like, even with the time when he knocked Ortiz out with the backhand, it was like someone shot him. It was like a gunshot going out, hitting him in the head, because he just, as soon as he heard it, the sweat was boom, his head shaked, not clean out. And it was on the top of the forehead, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was on the forehead. That's serious power. If any of us or anyone between the middleweights done that, you'd probably break a hand.
Yeah.
Easy all day long.
There's so much going for boxing, but there's also, people are criticising certain elements of it. We spoke about, the YouTube, and also we spoke about, the kind of hybrid version of this boxing now, which is one element. The other side of it, which I think the UFC has got it spot on, and I don't think boxing has, is you've got the WBO, IBF, IBO, WBC, etc. There's so many world titles. Do you think there's too many world titles?
Do you know? No, I don't think so. I don't think so, but there may be too many belts. That's the thing. But as in, like, coming up before the world title, if you know what I mean, everyone's a champion in the way. But there'll be one champion that he'll be fourth in the rankings, and be another champion who's second in the rankings, and then obviously you have another interim world title holder who's first in or whatever like that before they're actually champion. Maybe that way, but I don't think there's I think as the WBC, WBO, WBA, UEBF, I think they're perfect, mate. Everyone wants to have them, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But the other way of thinking is, if there was just one belt and you just knew the only world champion in that division was this guy, let's call it the WBO, he was number one, there would be no question mark who was the best.
No.
And doesn't it create a bit of confusion that when there is multiple world champions in one weight division, it's a bit, who is the best?
Yeah. Well, I understand where you're coming from. I totally understand, and I'm being biased here. So it gives everyone else a chance. It gives everyone a chance. And back to the Josh Taylor thing and Jack Hatchell, where the super series, you look at Carl Froch, George Groves, Andre Ward, they done it also. I just think they should do that every 4 year or every 5 year, and not able for so long. Do you know what I mean? Where there's one champion for, let's say, until they lose. So whoever wins the super series wins all the 4 belts, and then they'll defend that many times they want until they lose. And then as soon as the belts go off, you leave them free for an extra 3-4 years again, and then start up again.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. That's what I think. I think that'd be great. But how they are now, it gives everyone a chance. Do you know what I mean? And everyone gets a payday. It's boxing at the end of the day.
So I'm currently finishing off Barry Hearn's book called My Life, I believe it's called. I think I'm on chapter 13 or 14. He talks about when he took on Chris Eubank Sr. Said very, very skillful fighter, legend in the sport, very, very good personality to sell a fight, made a bunch of money back in his heyday. But he actually said that when Chris Eubank came to him, he said, I don't want to fight anyone undefeated. I don't want to fight any southpaws or anyone under 26 years of age or something like that. And he was allowed to go around fighting the people that he basically was choosing. And I still feel like there's a little bit of that today. Boxers who are got the big profile world champion, who are selling the fights, they can kind of pick and choose who they want. But in the UFC, you're told who you're going to fight.
Yeah. I agree. But UFC is different. The UFC is different rules. But I just when you get to the likes of Canelo picks and chooses who he wants to fight. The likes of obviously Fury as well. He picks and chooses. It's when you get that high profile, you can do whatever you want. You owe everyone. You're not owned by anyone no more.
Yeah.
You're the man. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
No one's gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Joe.
Do you ever look at something like the UFC and think, years to come, when I've done everything I wanted to do in boxing, you could convert over to the UFC?
I loved it. 100%. I loved it. I wouldn't be great on the ground, but I'd give it a go. I always like to try MMA training. Just different, just to switch off from boxing a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And just stay fit, more network. You meet more new people. You meet the people who's just like you, but is in a different path, different career. Yeah, I'd like to do it.
Yeah,
I'd like to do it.
Let's talk about heavyweight boxing. It's been a very, very successful and interesting division for the last few years. I mean, so many great names in there. Deontay Wilder being one of them. Fury, Anthony Joshua. You got Dylan White, and there's a bunch of others in the mix. Joshua, he's obviously had 2 back-to-back losses, and he's had 3 losses on his record so far. Do you think this next sort of comeback version of for him is kind of make or break, and where does he go next?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a make or break, but I just really think he should just he personally wants the big fights, to get his name back out there, to win the fans back. Really, he should just take a nobody for now. Get the mix, feel the fans out again, feel how the venues are all set up and stuff like that, and build his confidence back up, and then put yourself back with the Sharks. Do you know what I mean? But for what he's doing now and wants to fight, like for example with Fury or something like that, he should not do that. His career will be ruined totally.
How do you think he gets on with Fury?
I think Fury beats him well, handy. Probably even stop him. Maybe even stop him, yeah.
And Joshua against Wilder?
It's a tough one. Probably Wilder. Pretty Wilder. I'm very keen on Anthony Joshua, but he changed his life dramatically as well. But I like rather than, he's got a great career outside boxing, so he just needs to be a little bit more smart inside the ring. I think about that's just a boxer's ego. But I reckon his coaches, his promoters and stuff like that is telling him, take this fight, don't take him. Take him in 6 months, 8 months down the line, then take him. Let's take him now, build the fans back, win the fans back, sell out arenas. Anthony Joshua's back fine, back winning ways, and then put yourself into the mix with the big dogs.
They were talking about Dylan White part 2, their second fight. I think that was going to be scheduled at some point later on this year, but then I think it's sort of been fizzled out. It's just stuff that I was reading online. I know he won by knockout last time, but I do think both of the fighters have developed and slightly changed since that first fight. Who wins the second fight, Anthony Joshua or Dylan White?
I reckon Anthony Joshua. Because just that confidence over him after beating him already. But with Dylan White now, he has a new coach in LA, if I'm not mistaken, is it? He's training out in LA.
I think he was in Portugal.
No, he lives out in Portugal, but he fought the same night as me on the 26th of November. I don't know how he fought, but he done his camp out in LA.
Really?
Yeah, for 8 weeks. So he's had change, and maybe he's changed for better for himself. I don't know, but I just think Joshua do him again, man.
Yeah.
They give him that more confidence. Rather than staying back off as he did, he'll just walk forward and just do him.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be as fit as him.
So, you mentioned about your developing. I mean, you're still very, very young. Next few years, you're going to be world champion, and then you're looking to step up and become multiple weight world champion and unify, etc. Once that's all said and done, and you might have a little stint in UFC, right? You've got this YouTube channel, you've got businesses. How's your life going to be looking at that point?
Set. sitting on a yacht, smoking a cigar, sitting on a
Drinking Guinnesses.
a Guinness or a real whiskey on the ice. I don't know. I just think I'm someone who, if that ever did happen to me, I couldn't live with that for the rest of my life. I'd have to keep myself busy and into something, you know. So I want to build my name up, build my businesses up, meet as many network as much as possible, meet as many people, and then just go from there. But I'd probably get into the real estate, and then just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Just keep working hard.
So it's fair to say, making an assumption, making money, becoming a very successful business person, becoming a brand, becoming a multi-millionaire is important to you.
Very important. It's the most important thing. After the world titles. So the world titles are first. That's my job for now. Then afterwards, saying when that's all secured, then I'll push on. But I can see myself, like a lot of people saying to me, I should be able to sport at 30, this and that. I'd be lost at 30 years of age. Like, my life is really be only starting then, do you know what I mean? I think I'll be doing boxing until I'm 35, 36. Depends on the punishment now. I just got to be smart with training, and just think outside the box. But I'd like to live my life after boxing, doing some, maybe even involved in boxing a little bit, because I couldn't take me both feet out of boxing. I'm lost without it. Especially at that age, like, you'd be doing, what's the average age of living now? 80 years of age, 75, is it?
Something like that, yeah.
Like, that's 40 years doing nothing. So you'd be dead and all again at 65, just doing nothing. So I want to be kept busy. I want to be flat out, working hard, achieving bigger goals, and we bring boxing back to Dublin and just promote it.
So once you start making that big money, you do want to treat yourself. I see you got a lovely Rolex on, Tom Ford glasses on, dressed really well, immaculate. So clearly what comes with being a success, being a great boxer and also a business person is the money, and then you start treating yourself on certain things.
Yeah.
What's the first nice car that you're going to buy?
First nice car I'm going to buy? Probably a G-Wagon. Yeah, I want a G-Wagon. Because you write off your taxes. I always want, growing up I always wanted a G-Wagon. That's me dream car. And I walk around here in Mayfair and just look at it and say, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Like, and I want one with the urban custom. That's the one I want. Not just the plain one.
What about a Ferrari, Lamborghini?
Yeah, man, I'm not really keen on it. Nah, if it comes, it comes. You know. What else? And then obviously you have the G-Wagon 6x6. You've also got that, and then man, you're just someone. I'm into all. I'm into the fashion. I'm into the cars. I'm not really into the nightlife, so that wouldn't really affect me. But for now, I need to be very, very smart. I've got a great team around me and a great advisor who doesn't let me spend any money. He doesn't. He just save, invest as a young age, and I've got to make that sacrifice, because for me, I'd love to go out and buy that C63 or that AMG car, whatever, or a Porsche or the Range Rover SVR. I'd love to go out and buy all that, but that stuff that goes down in value, that they're liabilities, do you know what? It ain't about me no more. It's about me future and me kids, and I just need to leave something for them, because as we spoke about boxing, how dangerous it is, Steve. You don't know when your last walkout's going to be.
Yeah. When I think about RF fighters as well, and I think about the Ferraris, the big houses, the whiskey, I do think about the number one Irish person coming from the fight sector, which is Conor McGregor. What sort of impact has he had on your life?
Do you know what? As a complete opinion, he had a huge impact on my life. Grew up same way I grew up. Worked hard, believed in himself. He, again, as we spoke about the law of attraction, he's a massive believer, just like I am. And as soon as you put the hours and the time in, are all just snowballs, Steve. It all just happens. And you don't realise when it happens. Like, and even for me now, I visualise everything that I have, what I have now, and people say, "Oh, I should be grateful with that." I said, "I should be grateful you have this and you have that," but it's human nature. I always want more, and I can believe it, and I always get more. Do you know what I mean? And when I'm so settled and I'm relaxed, I feel like things are going so smoothly. I'm looking for problems. I was like, this shouldn't be happening for me. This is going too easy. I was like, what's happening? Who's doing what? And I started looking for problems. And I started getting a little bit more depressed. When I get depressed, that's when I work hard, and that's when I drive and I know focused in.
Yeah, yeah. I know he's a massive advocate of the law of attraction, and he speaks about it so well in a lot of his videos. I mean, he even predicts the shot he's going to knock one of his opponents out.
Literally, like, for example, there, just getting back to the law of attraction, what McGregor said about the left hand, as soon as Jose Aldo lets his right hand go, I'm going to clip him with the left. That's exactly what happened. And just before my last, three fights ago, I think it was, last summer, when I fought a guy called Marselect, he was like 8 wins, 7 KOs, and I think I was actually only 8 as well, so 4 fights ago. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man, he's not going to ever. I would have had it tough, you know. So I was like, right, I need to be switched on here. And then just one fight week, I woke up one morning, and I said to one of my sponsors, I said, I'm going to knock him out with my left hook. Watch this. Don't be thinking like that. Don't be thinking like that. I said, trust me, when you see this, told everyone, no one believe me. No, don't be thinking like that. Don't think like that. I kept saying it all the time. I was a shot, it was a left hook. Boom, it was perfect. I didn't even try for it. It just happened. And then I went back in the dressing rooms. I said, I told you it was a left hook, wasn't it? And they're all like, they were all amazed. It's like, how did you make that happen? So I just visualised it. I said, I've seen it so many times. And even like, I've got a video on my phone, and I have the title on my phone of the WBC international title. And I had that. I kept visualising that all the time. I kept writing out my stuff, and anytime I was out running, I lower my earphones down and speak to myself a little bit, you know, and keep motivation. And so I kept on going. And then when I won the title, everyone was like, "Oh, cheer up, this and that." I was like, "What you mean cheer up?" I said, "I'm happy." Nah, you didn't. Crack a smile. And you can actually see this in the YouTube on the second part of the vlog. I said, "Smile, cheer up." I said, "I've already lived this. So I lived this time already." I said, I'm after being here already. This is my second time." And they looked at me and like to say, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I've lived this already." I said, "This is what I'm at the writing down my goals, and this is what's on my screensaver since August." That's crazy. And even when I came here, like, as you said, like, come to London, when not really having it, and just believed in myself, mate. Just believed in her, and just read it. And that was it. It just happens now.
Yeah, it's powerful. So, visualization, affirmations, incantations, just positive thoughts in the atmosphere. Is that something you have to work on every single day? Is there something that comes naturally to you, or do you have to remind yourself, look, I need to stay focused?
Sometimes I have to remind myself I need to stay focused. But another thing, like, I think it is a little bit natural. I've always done it as a young age, Steve. And obviously, as McGregor had a massive impact on me, went on YouTube, so easy to get. Went on YouTube and just see, like, visualization. McGregor speaking about it. About going to the car park, looking at the car park spot. He always, like, and there'd be days where he wouldn't have gotten it. But that's just like me. If something was going my way that day, stay focused and keep on walking. And believe in yourself. And listen, things happen. That's just God testing you, whether you still keep faith or not.
Yeah. So, okay, you're out back in April. Where can we expect to see?
Yeah, back.
You're fighting.
Back out in April. I think it could be London or Belfast. It's not released yet, but it's looking like mid-April. So I'm looking forward to that, and I will be defending my title, my WBC title.
Cool. And then so you mentioned about European title. When do you think that will be happening next?
we're pushing on quick for that, so we plan on having that at the end of the year.
End of the year, and then you reckon in 2024 you'll be pushing on for a world title?
100%, definitely. That's what I need, and that's what I want. I say by next summer, perfect time.
So if you were to estimate, predict, guess, law of attraction it, who do you think you'll be fighting for that world title?
I don't know, to be honest with you, I actually don't know, but I feel like I have it. It feels like I know that I know my route where I'm going down, or I know it'll be American, I reckon. It'll be an American fire
On their soil,
on their soil.
and that doesn't faze you.
Doesn't phase me one bit. Even if it was in their back garden, I'll still have it in there, and I still eat the barbecue then after, wouldn't it?
Good stuff. Right, I'm going to ask one last question, Pierce. So when I came up with my first ever company when I was younger, it was sales. And I used to have, I don't know, 85, 90% of the people on that floor was predominantly men, young men, alpha type males. As good as they were, there's obviously a lot of problems when you have a lot of males working on a sales floor. So I come up with a mantra, and it goes like this: be happy, never content. Now, I used to say that to them. I used to have it up on the walls. We've got our own interpretation of what that means. But if I were to ask Pierce, Big Bang, O'Leary, what does be happy, never content mean to you?
Work hard, mate. I don't, like, it's hard not being happy and content. Like, if you're still going home, you're still living at home with your mother or someone like that, or you haven't got goals, you haven't achieved any goals, but you're still content. That like, you've got to be reaching your goal. You've got to set goals, reach them, and then be happy. That's just being it. If we don't reach goals, I'm not happy, and that's the truth. And I need to reach those goals, and for me to be happy, that's to make everyone else happy around me.
Good stuff. I really appreciate your time. I'm very, very excited to see your career develop and your brand develop, most importantly as well. I'm definitely going to be supporting, and I really, really appreciate your time today, Pierce.
Thanks very much, Sam. I really appreciate for having me on.
Thank you. And if everyone's enjoyed the episode, obviously go and follow Pierce. Be happy, never content. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and thank you very much once again for your time. Cheers. Cool. Nice one, right?
That was great.
Thank you. Yeah, enjoy.